Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a minute. I don't suppose I need these headphones. Um, my mustache keeps popping in and out of existence, but that is completely normal. So, it's been a minute, for a multitude of reasons. Um, been in the process of some pretty big life changes. Um, for those of you that don't know, I have moved. I have taken a new position and decided to also move back to my hometown to be closer to family for other reasons. But I did take a new job. Um, I did love my old place of employment. It's a fantastic job, and I gained a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge. Um, with that position. Choosing my words. Let me hydrate. I know there'll be people out there that are happy for me because I rarely hydrate. All right. Had a pretty busy few weekends. The weekend right before I moved out here, I went to a Toto and Journey concert, which was pretty cool. Big fan of Toto, and Journey has some good music. Some of their stuff I feel is a little bit overplayed, and I get tired really quickly when songs are overplayed. and But Toto did really well. They obviously had a lower budget show as they were the opening act technically, or the guest. Um, Journey had a pretty high energy show, and their current lead singer Arnel Pineda, he did a great job. Really high energy the whole show, so that was pretty neat. We're not going to focus on that too much, because then I had some movers come out midweek Wednesday. They delivered the same day, and then I followed my stuff out on Thursday. Then on Friday I set off, so I got in at like 11, almost 11:30. Still had to unpack my stuff for like an hour, get settled in, and then leave out at 3 a.m. to go catch a flight. I may have left around 2:30 actually. Yeah, I think it was 2:30. It was pretty early. I had to fly out from Birmingham to Houston. I went out to Houston to see Circuit of the Americas, the NASCAR race. Was out there with a friend, and while I was out there, I also visited, I believe it's the San Jacinto Monument, monument to the battle that was fought there, which, as they say, it seems like it turned out pretty well for Texas. That's what people tell me, and I'll believe them. So really neat memorial. Actually pull that one up. Monument. I search memorial. Here we are. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. For those of you that can see the visual version, it should now be on Spotify, Anchor possibly, and on YouTube, obviously. So we'll share this one, this Google tab. So now we can see this tab, San Jacinto Museum of History. So it's right on the harbor. Pretty neat. It's not too expensive to go in and visit. It's not the biggest museum. That's the thing that I thought was what was super neat is the museum is inside of the monument, and normally you can go out and go up to this observation deck, but that was not, the elevator was not in service when I was there. There's actually inscriptions in all four corners of this monument. I believe maybe even on the sides there were there was writing, and there were pictures depicting what writing or what was going on in the writing. So engravings on the side of it. They did have the battleship just down the road, which was really neat. I wasn't able to see the battleship because they're moving it out. So goodbye to the ship. Yeah, this shows the engraving on the sides, really neat. And then up top on the actual monument section, not the pedestal, it has the pictures and inscriptions describing what's going on there. But basically, starting here and wrapping all the way around it tells the story of the battle, kind of what led up to it and what came from it. So pretty neat. The sense of scale, it's pretty large, but there's nothing really surrounding it, so you can't really tell how large it is. See the ship there? I didn't get to see it, and it's going out for repairs for a year, possibly more. So not much to see there on the coastline. But yeah, the sense of scale is just not there. But the pedestal does account for some of the height. But compared to the Washington Monument, it's actually a little taller, I believe. But it counts this whole pedestal, the stairs, everything, and up to the monument. So just this shaft portion, I would call it, is actually counted. The Washington Monument is bigger. So I believe this would be from the observation deck. Get a good little view over this place southeast of Houston. So really neat. The museum inside is pretty cool. But I'll go back. Friday, I flew out of Birmingham. I believe departure was at like 5:30. We left. I was passenger A2, so I was the second aboard, second person. I flew with Southwest. It was my first time with Southwest. And I don't like the way that they do the seating. So I'll just look up the Boeing 737. This is the plane that I was flying on, the 737-700. Not a massive plane. It's older interior for sure. But you sit three across, three. And if we zoom in here, you'll see that the front has a little extra leg room. And you're right up next to the bathroom, which I like. There's a bathroom at the front, one at the back usually. So that was good. So you didn't have to compete people in the front and the back. But the way they load is you pay extra for your business ticket and you get to load first. And that's basically your only advantage. I believe you do get a drink coupon, a beverage coupon, but I don't drink alcohol on planes. And it's just not my idea of a great time having alcohol on a plane. The body doesn't really respond well to alcohol, as it's negatively impacts the liver and the brain. But yeah, I mean, you could cause dehydration. You can have to pee more. I mean, I just don't feel like it would be a great option for a plane. But anyway, I know some people get nervous on a plane, but I don't feel like being drunk on a plane would be a good time. But people just seem to get the need to drink before they go on a plane, which is their choice, I guess. But I already don't like being around intoxicated people. Not everyone's the worst, but there are some people that just talk out of their minds, and they'll come up to you in public, maybe at the gas station, and they'll just be talking out of their minds. You have no idea what they're talking about. And then at sporting events, people get loud, people get in fights. And I just don't want to see that side of someone come out on a plane. It's like a tube. You're packed in with a bunch of people. It's like a flying school bus. It's like a real life magic school bus. And very close quarters, I might say, about these planes, though, even though I had the extra leg room. There was no in-flight entertainment, as in like consoles on the front of the plane or on the back of the seats. The in-flight entertainment was provided on your phone, and you get the free streaming or free WhatsApp messaging, I believe, but you had to pay $9 for everything else. But yeah, so the drink coupon, which was included in the what would have been the first class, I believe they call it business executive class. It never got used. So really my only advantage from getting this ticket, $100 extra, whatever, was being able to board early. But I got this A1 seat up in the front. Then the plane filled up. It was a full flight, so no empty seats. And a mother sat in the B seat and a daughter sat in the C seat. The mother was, old enough to be a grandmother. She referred to herself as a grandmother, so I guess she is. But this daughter was probably older than me, but it was her first flight ever. Irrelevant, but it'll come back around. That'll come back around. She was nice. She explained it was her daughter's first flight, and they were excited and taking pictures. So I just leaned back and let them do their thing. There was a window in front of me, so they were free to lean over and take pictures, because your perspective really changes when you're in a plane. Your view down on how small the world is. You may get a different outlook on strangers and people around you, because you can kind of see it from that bird's eye view, like a smaller effect of going to the space station and seeing the spaceship Earth. Astronauts talk about feeling more of a sense of unity once they've seen Earth from space. But I think anyone with the knowledge that Earth is just one place, and if you keep walking, you'll end up on another part of the world, it's the same planet, you can kind of get that same sense. It may not be as dramatic or as Hollywood. And I love it. There was one astronaut, and he was joking, but they were saying, I was kind of disappointed by seeing the Earth. It was just kind of there. And, some astronauts come back with this complex that they, we're all one person, all one people. And he just didn't see it. I just thought that was very funny. But, that's just the kind of different perspectives that we have. And I'll get into that in a bit. But also with this, she offered me some gum, which was nice. And she was, talking about all this different stuff. But I also had gum. So I was able to offer her some gum right after she offered me gum. So it was like, that's not gum. This is gum, like my gum was superior. I didn't chew my gum or her gum. I got no gum. We get out, finally take off around 5:45. I could actually see the base that I drilled at when I was in the Army Reserve, while I was taking off. And lady just thought I was marveling about the Air Force's planes out there. I say, no, I'm very familiar with this area. But the lady was telling me, that's a daily sight in her life, is that she's, I believe, a first sergeant's wife, or maybe master sergeant. I can't remember, but someone senior enlisted in the Army. So they were used to seeing that kind of thing. And I was like, oh no, I'm very used to it too. I have some interesting memories here. But we talked a little bit before they settled in, and I put my earbuds in and started listening to Chicago. I downloaded an album so I could listen to it on the flight without having to pay for the $9 internet for a 2-hour flight. It was 2 hours 27 minutes, or something like that. Birmingham to Dallas to Love Field. Get to Love Field. I believe I had a 4-hour layover. It was a long time. And I went by Dickie's Barbecue while I was at that airport, and I had 2 brisket tacos, and they were good. So that was the first food thing I had. I believe I also had a Snickers on in Birmingham Airport. But anyway, I go ahead and get to Houston. On that flight, I was next to 2 men. I was in this I was in this 1F seat. And the side of the airplane curls around, and so my neck was jammed in, and I was having to squeeze myself in the whole flight. So my neck's already pretty bad. So I hurt my neck, and I hadn't slept the night before, or I was in bed for like 45 minutes or so, and it was a miserable flight. It was only a 30-minute flight, but from Dallas to Houston, but it felt like forever, and I had to pee. So that was interesting. And when you're crammed in on the side, and you have 2 bigger people next to you, not calling them fat, but they were bigger, especially 3 guys, broad shoulders. You can't just lean all over the people next to you, but you have to with this kind of space constraint. But I did my best and pulled my left arm in, because I didn't want to like touch elbows and be thought of as being one of those gays. Obviously I kid, but that is kind of the general feeling. Like sitting in the middle seat of a car, you can't let your thighs touch with somebody else, because that's on you. They have the side seat, so it's like they're kind of in charge. That's why people have insults about the middle seat. No one ever asked for it, even though as a kid, I sat in the middle seat, and I tried the side seat a few times, but it just seemed off. And I have to believe that's because my booster seat probably went in the middle, probably fit in the middle seat. So like I wasn't valued as much as my sisters, I guess. They got the full shoulder belt, while me, up until 2000, I don't know, 2004, 2005, I didn't even have a shoulder band, because the minivan had one in the back seat, but any kind of sedan we had, 5-seater, we had 5 people in the family. I always had that lap belt, so I just wasn't valued as much, I guess, or they hoped that I wouldn't fly too far through the windshield. I don't know, but that's how your parents don't, or your parents may have a favorite, or at least they definitely have a least favorite. Is it'll be the kid in the middle seat, because that's the one you don't value as much. Or if you look at how much parents spend on booster and car seats, if you have the great value car seat and the person in the back has like the Mitsubishi Rolex edition car seat, the one with the 5-star Hyundai crash rating, that's the favorite child. Or if they get all the new clothes and you get the hand-me-downs. I understand it may be economic from a certain sense, but come on. I mean, hand-me-downs. It's like, I don't know. Anyway, move on. Got into Houston. Yeah, got picked up. Laid on their floor. Laid on my friend's floor. Fell asleep for an hour or 2, and then went to eat at a place called Taste of Texas, which is a very nice little steakhouse. Went in there and got some Dr. Pepper, as you would if you're in Texas, like I was in this story that happened a few weeks ago, like 2.5 weeks ago, like, not long ago, very end of March. We'll go ahead and stop the screen share now, or we'll just we'll actually look this place up. See it on screen. Test of Texas. Okay, yes, this is the taste of Texas. That they can bring they can bring the meat cuts out to you, but their interesting, unique novelty plates are in the shape of a cow or a bull meat, but I didn't get one. They gave me a square plate like a nerd. It's also cool because they have different pieces of Texas history, some artwork about history of Texas. They have sports memorabilia on the walls. I'll see if I can see any of that. They bring out the cart of dessert at the end. That was nice, but didn't get dessert there. But I had a steak. I had some mashed potatoes and some broccoli. You have the salad bar that you go up to at the start. Very nice. They had fresh cut fruit there. So I ended up just getting a salad, a fruit salad, basically. It was like a layer of lettuce and then a layer of regret. No, it was a layer of lettuce and a layer of cantaloupe, honeydew melon, watermelon, and maybe pineapple. It was very good. So I was already pretty much full, but I got that Dr. Pepper also. And they also had a milk jug. It looked like a milk jug, like a vase. And it had about a liter of Dr. Pepper that I could refill my own drink on demand, which I don't know how economic that is. I know just the syrup and the soda water for these sodas, not very costly, but I mean, maybe at a place like this, I guess it's more about the presentation. Because this was the type of restaurant where you get a reservation, I guess. It was pretty busy, but it was pretty nice. The steak flavoring, it just tasted like, you had made a steak at home, but the advantage about this steak was the content of fat. It was a pretty low fat count. It wasn't too lean, but you didn't have these huge globules of fat that take up 20% of the steak. So that was definitely an advantage. There's my mustache, it's back. So that was pretty nice. But the tenderness for sure is where most of that money comes from when you're paying for that kind of a dinner. And then after that, we went to Andretti go-karting. I'll pull that up. Andretti go-karts. Go Lards. I'm having trouble. So we'll go to the C photos. Then we'll share the screen. Boop. Share. So we have it here. That this is a concept rendering, but that's how it looks. You have this multi-story track. Let's see. I believe this was the kiddie track, this smaller one. There's 3 tracks all next to each other. This is the main track. So yes, I believe that other one would be the kiddie track. So the smaller one. Then you have an intermediate level track. I guess they're side by side. I don't know. They have them all squeezed in there. But this massive track up here, this is the main, the green one. That's the main area. And that's for adults 17 and up, I believe. You have to have a driver's license. So 3 different types of carts. They're electric. Did 3 races there. The races were pretty fun. The go-karts were pretty fast, I would say. Um, they were all pretty even for the most part. And it was one of the go-kart tracks where you race by time. It's not done by position. And you have the electronic scoring, so that's really neat. And they did email your lap times to you after the event, which was really neat because I can look back at that. In the first event, I had placed second on the leaderboard, and actually placed my second fastest lap. That got me on their daily leaderboard. So I ran one of the fastest laps, so the 8th fastest lap of the week on my first, try. It was eight. I got in 8 laps. It was a timed event, so not everyone got in the same amount of laps. I believe someone turned 4 laps that race. And I had like a 35-second time. And then in the second race, I believe I had my fastest lap of the evening. It was a 34-second lap, which beat my other time, but I don't believe it advanced me at all. Maybe if it did, maybe 2 positions at best on the weekly leaderboard. And then the third one, in the third race, I got wrecked. Let's go ahead and bring up paint. So we'll share my screen again. Let's share paint. So let's say this is the racetrack. Coming around a turn, a big U. Right here, this is fun. We're coming downhill. Yeah, I'll draw the directions on here. There's this one woman I've been following for the first 2 laps of this race, and I'm faster than her. But I race clean, and I try not to bump people, and they say don't bump. And so what ended up happening is around the sharp turn, she left open a gap that I could fit into pretty well. So she was on the outside. She was here. We'll just make this her cart. And then she's driving in at this angle straight with the track. I'm driving in at this angle to try to hit more of a straight turn. That way I can apex later and get more speed. And also I'll be avoiding this outside. So she's the black car, I'm the white car. And then here, this checked car comes in our third party. There's only enough room. Actually, let's draw my arrow this way. At the angle my cart's going to go, there's not enough room for 3 of us to make the corner. But with just me and her, and me safely approaching this corner, we're both going to make it, no contact. This guy sends it in and doesn't brake. And he ends up hitting the inside wall and my back left. But it also pushes me out into her. And so what ends up happening is he gets this inside position. I get pushed back, and then she gets turned. I kind of turn her further than she's currently going. She's on the outside. So she gets turned into the inside wall right in front of the guy on the very inside. I'm in the middle. Right in front of the guy in the very inside. They get stuck. So they're in a T formation now. Go ahead and picture that. They're in a T formation. I just turn left and keep driving. But that caused a caution and slowed down our average lap times, because with the electronic cars, they can slow it down. And, oh no, I don't want to do that. They can slow it down. and they can do that for safety reasons. They can do it remotely. So the that was rough, but we got done with it. I got back in the groove, laying down some good laps. I think some of my best laps of the whole race. And what ends up happening is this guy, I pass him, and then he just starts tailgating me. And he's not fast enough to keep up with me normally. But if he sends it in a corner without braking, he'll catch up to me momentarily so he can gain a position. If I don't, and if I don't brake, he's going to run right into me. So he's coming in, taking up this interior line and just driving straight. And so if I'm in front of him and trying to take this reasonable line and apex here, we're going to intersect. And what's going to end up happening is this guy would just ram into me from behind. He wouldn't try to go around on the outside. He wouldn't try to go on the inside. He would just ram right in the back of me. So what I end up doing is about here, when I would be about here and he would be behind me, I would hit the brakes. That way he would go flying past. So what would end up happening, he would go end up flying past, having to brake and turn, while I could kind of hit the brakes and drift the car behind, let him go past me, go behind him, and then exit the corner ahead. So we did this 2 laps in a row, or maybe 3 laps in a row. And on the third time, this guy passes me with this pretty, dangerous move. And we're going downhill in this corner. So this is a speed corner. You're going downhill the whole time, so you just pick up this incredible speed. On another lap, maybe 2 laps later, I'm following this guy. I'm faster, but he's just throwing blocks every corner, and you're not really supposed to on this track because it's a timed lap. So he would turn faster laps if he would let me go. So he's really hurting both of us, but I'm still running faster laps most of the time behind this guy, even though I keep having to brake and, take less aggressive lines. What ends up happening is we come uphill in a turn here. I'll go ahead. We're coming uphill. We come up and here and around, and then the big downhill portion where he would usually send it. It would go back downhill. So this is the angle. I would end up driving behind this guy up the hill, and he would come up with a little too much speed. So I would get up under him, and I could get under on this corner because I would come up and I would angle it at the way where I would cut back faster. And so I would be in front of him by this point. This would be him, and I would be about right here, but he would still be on my outside. Since he's still out there, I could cut this guy off, but it would end up wrecking him and possibly myself. And you're not supposed to bump a wreck in this type of racing. So we would continue side by side. I'd be a little ahead until we have to cut back here. Then this happened several laps in a row. But on this last lap, this guy just drove straight while I'm sitting here trying to make this corner. So we make contact about here. And the guy just turns his wheel to the right. I see his hands locked to the right. So I hit this wall head on, destroyed the front of my go-kart, and wrecked that guy, but he was able to recover and keep going. I was able to recover and keep going, but there was a referee sitting right about here. They're supposed to police this stuff, kind of be the penalty crew. Guy didn't react at all. So we'll stop this share. I actually ended up getting bruised. can't even see it anymore. But I still have a little bit of a mark there, but it actually broke the skin, and I had this nasty bruise under my arm, and also on my wrist. Can't see it now anymore either. The lighting washes everything out. And then I also had a cut across my neck from where the lat belt was. It wasn't the normal 5-point harness. It was actually just an across the shoulder lat belt. So I was pretty mad about that. Still turned some decent laps. I believe I finished third in that event. After that, I went to In-N-Out. I saved room and I was at the Taste of Texas. So I went to In-N-Out and got a double cheeseburger just to try it. I've been there before, but I needed to remind myself really what it tasted like and what it was like. And then after that, we went to Handel's, got some ice cream. That was the end of that day. Then on Saturday, I went to Houston Space Center, Johnson Space Center, and visited the Space Center out there, I guess, is, because I went to the Space Center to visit the Space Center. And it was pretty neat. I believe it's probably up there in the running for one of the best space centers. I don't believe it has much on the Space and Rocket Center that I'm familiar with, other than presentation. The presentation at Johnson was really good, and presentation again really good at Cape Canaveral. I just don't think it's worth it for the money, what you're getting. I believe it's a lot more information and science out here. I believe it's laid out better. You don't have to take trams to get everywhere. I didn't get to see the Saturn V there because the tram just stops running 2 hours before closing. And you can even just see the building where the Saturn V is located, but you can't even walk out to it. So that's really silly. So it was just not great, but I did get to see a Falcon 9 there. There's a Falcon 9 you can walk out to. It's a flown booster. It's the first stage of Falcon 9. So that was really neat. And I was really excited to see that. And after that, I went to a place called like Killen's Barbecue or something. It's apparently a pretty good, it was pretty pricey barbecue place in Houston, and it was all right. Earlier, I'd had Whataburger. That's a Texas thing, so I had to stop by there and give it a second opinion or third opinion. Still not crazy about it, but it was semi-decent. I still don't like the burgers. I tried those again and not a fan. But I got a cinnamon bun. It's really good. I got a chocolate shake. It was really good. Then when I was at the Killen's Barbecue, I got a steak and a potato and mac and cheese, I believe. And I also got pulled pork sandwich. I didn't get to eat much of the pulled pork sandwich because I was full, but it was really good. I wouldn't say it was great. Like I was mind blown, but it was really good. And after that, I had some gelato and 3 different flavors: peach, raspberry, and watermelon. But I didn't even get to finish it because I accidentally ordered a bowl the size enough for 6 people. It was 6 servings. I just thought they were counting servings really weird. Like I didn't understand they meant 6 different people's worth. I wasn't thinking. And I didn't see the small, medium, larges. I saw the 2 servings, 4 servings, and 6 servings. And so I just thought, oh, I guess that's how they size things, and in Texas, everything's bigger. So that's what I thought. That day was concluded. And on Sunday was the race. So woke up in Houston, got up, headed out, and went to Buc-ee's on the way there. It was my first time at a Buc-ee's. It was really nice. I got two brisket tacos. It was just brisket and egg. And then I had an ice cream right before that, a Snickers ice cream. Drive continues. We stop at this little breakfast thing place. I don't know what they did. And met two lovely women who work with my friend. And they were a joy to meet. Certainly full of personality. And I don't know, it was a nice experience. The restaurant was nice. I believe I had some kind of burger and a mix between their original fries, I guess their Cajun fries, and their sweet potato fries. So that was good. Then went to the race at Circuit of the Americas. It's a road course. I believe it's like 3.8 miles, so it's a giant place. It was a facility built for F1 cars, but NASCAR's been going there now. This was their second year. And at COTA, something I want to actually talk about a little bit is I was able to get some merchandise. I like their diecast. Some people have seen my diecast collection, not my expanded collection, but they've seen quite a bit of the diecast I have, but I got even more. So the first one I have 2021 race winner. I have Ryan Blaney's body armor car. So we'll go ahead and take a look at it. So if you can see the podcast or the video, it really helps. I'll throw that away later. So we have the body armor car. Really nice. It's got the opening hood and everything. See the engine in there. Got the window net, all that. So pretty good quality. This unmounts, and then you can actually display the car separate, which is what I almost always do to save room. That was the Mustang. This is the last generation car, the 6th gen. These are 2021 schemes. That was the Mustang. So it was it does look pretty cool. The next car I got is Alex Bowman, and it's the Ally 48. But not the same one that he ran most of the year. That he ran this once, I believe, at Nashville. And I believe Larson won this race, but Bowman ran pretty well. And this was a car that Dale Earnhardt Jr. designed. The colors don't come out right, but yeah, you can see it a little more accurately further away. But yeah, purple, blue, and a little shade of hot pink or whatever. A lot of the electric blue, though, really nice. And this is the Camaro. So good little detail there. I like just how that car looks. Mean looking car. To find where to put all this stuff. Very tired, if no one can tell. There's another one I got. Let's see. I can't remember if I knew if this one had the confetti or not. But okay, I got Kyle Larson's number 500 car Chevy. This is the one that went to Texas. So it does have the clear spoiler. This was the 550 package they ran. And this one does have like the flecks of dirt and stuff or any scratches, the confetti in the places it was when the car was scanned after the race. But yeah, I like that one. Not much to say about it. This was one that Eric Jones ran at Darlington. I got this one because I actually have the original. I have the original car. And so I wanted to get the updated version. This was a throwback scheme. I'll have to clean all that up later. This was a throwback scheme going back to John Andretti's STP 43 that was originally driven on a Pontiac Grand Prix. This was the Eric Jones 43 from last year. It really has that classic petty look. And again, this time though, on a Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. And then I think the coolest one, I got William Byron's car from last year, his Exalta Chevrolet, in the original rainbow colors that Jeff Gordon ran. But this is William Byron's own take on it, his version. So definitely a meaner looking car than the rainbow of that Jeff Gordon had. Again, the colors are washed out. I can't see it as well, but that's blue and green. That's not green and green. But again, really cool looking car. So glad I picked it up. So the race went. It was interesting. I did have an encounter while I was there at the race. That's unfortunate, but I have to talk about it. Austin is a city rated, or is the city rated second best place to live for self-identifying, self-identified liberals. And that demographic has a higher portion that belong to the LGBT community. And it wouldn't be of any note or wouldn't matter if while I wasn't standing in line for a drink, had my headset on, I had my scanner going on the earbuds, listening to the race. This guy just walks up to me and he's talking. I can't hear him because I have all this stuff on, but it sounds like he is saying something about what's your theme, what's something about my shirt, like what's my theme, like what, mysterious, is my theme astronaut? I have no clue. I don't know what my theme is. Is it like theme? Was he like an English teacher and he's just quizzing me about what theme I'm going for? I don't know. And then I hear him just say, just go with it. And so I'm thinking, oh, this guy just wants to hop in line. And he just started fake having a conversation, just saying random words. So it looks like we know each other. Oh, I didn't really care. I really just wanted my drink because I hadn't had anything. It's already been like 2 hours out here in the elements. And so waiting. And it's under caution. And the race is starting back. And I really just want to go see the race. And so I'm not paying attention to this guy, but then I feel something bump me. And I disregarded it. He just thought, oh, the guy got a little too close. And then he says something about, just go with it. What's your theme? And just kind of repeating this stuff. I can't quite hear what he's saying. And then I feel another bump. But this time I knew this was probably intentional. And it was a bump to a sensitive area, one that may be called the groin region, pelvic region. And so I step back. And then that's when the man who was obviously this guy's partner, if you understand what I mean, someone who is very friendly with men. This man's partner stepped in angrily and almost tackled this man along so they would keep walking. So I put two and two together later that perhaps this was a man trying to make his partner angry, or perhaps he was just very drunk, as the guy in front of me thought. The guy in front of me turned around and did the drunk sign, made a face. So I don't know. Drunken sexual assault, or well, it probably had something to do with alcohol, I'll say. Wasn't happy about it, but I didn't quite comprehend what was happening while it was happening. We hear a lot about sexual assault to females, and that's usually the example you hear, and it's almost always male to female. But what you don't hear about is male on male or female to male assaults and harassment. So I don't know. Uh, it's troubling that it happened. But a good-looking guy like me, it's bound to happen. Sadly, everybody just wants a taste. They sounds weird, but wouldn't I know? Taste of water. That's our sponsor for today. But overall, Houston was interesting. Definitely somewhere. I'm glad that I visited. Austin was looked pretty nice as well. The facility was really nice. The restaurant that I went into, it just looked like a decent area aside from how dry it was. And I definitely plan to go back at some point and check out some of the things I didn't get to do. My dog's chewing on one of the cardboard pieces that was in one of those boxes. Flew back on Monday. Oh yeah, on the way back we stopped by Buc-ee's and I got some ice cream and some cookie dough things and some cinnamon caramel beaver nuggets, and I got a pulled pork barbecue sandwich and a brisket sandwich, and definitely enjoyed it. Buc-ee's pretty good overall, I'll say. Man, he's already tearing into that card. I can't stop him. When I was in Dallas, that's where I got off the first plane with that mother and daughter. Obviously, didn't think I'd ever see them again. But I get on the plane in Dallas to come back to Birmingham, and this lady grabs me on the knee. I'm sitting in the aisle seat this time, front row again. I was the fifth to board on this flight. I look up at her and I have no idea who she is. I'm thinking, is she from work? Is she from elsewhere? I have no idea who this lady is. And we all have our COVID masks on too, because the White House still requires masks on flight, even though the airlines are against it. Anyway, it finally comes to me. It's the same mother from the first flight. She remembered, most likely because I was wearing the same mask, I believe. Actually, I don't believe I was. Maybe I was, but yeah, wild, small world. It just happened to be we were going to the same place and same destination, even though it was my layover spot. Same airport, so the chances aren't all that low, but still, it was a surprise to see her and surprised that she remembered me. Anyway, go forward to this weekend. I went to the Memphis Zoo, and that was a 2-day thing. So went down, came back the next day. And while I was there, I went to an antique shop, and I actually found some more die-cast. So I have this Haviland 28 Ford, gold lettering, pretty neat. And then I think I already own this car, but it's Dale Senior Good Wrench 3, and it's to commemorate the 1996 Atlanta Olympics. But if I do already have this one, I already have an idea for where it's going to go. This was a die cast. This is actually a new die cast. just put out early this year, but it's from last year. I saw it at the race in Houston, and I almost picked it up. But it was for $100 at the racetrack, and I knew I could do better online. But I actually found this while I was in Memphis, and it's the Gravedigger Harvick scheme. And why this is cool is because it's done up like the Gravedigger monster truck. And he ran this, I believe, at Bristol last year at the night race, possibly. But still really neat, and it is accurate to the Gravedigger. So really cool. I got it for 75 at that antique shop, so little discount from the race, and I was able to pick it up instead of getting it shipped. I got cassettes for Chicago 16 and 17. There was the album art, $3.50 a piece. Add to my collection of their older music or older mediums of music. So I don't know, a little neat. The audio's not going to be great, but it's more just about that non-existent nostalgia. Another one I have Dale Jarrett's 88 Ford credit machine. He had his best seasons in this car and won a championship in it. So definitely not the higher quality of build as the newer cars, but still the cars just look very good. You know, if there's a paint scheme you really like, it'll definitely jump out at you. So this is just such a iconic car. I actually saw this one with my dad at the Space and Rocket Center years ago, probably like 2000, probably the year 2000, honestly. May have been 2001 or 2. It may have been there over a period of time. I'll put it that way. This is one I'm really proud of. This is Dale Earnhardt's first car, the K2. This one I shouldn't throw the box away, but I probably will. And there it is. That'll definitely be the oldest looking diecast I have, but has his name on the front, Dale, and it wasn't supposed to be pink. I believe I can't remember which color they had, but it came out looking a lot different than they expected. But it's also the only Ford he ever drove. For pretty much the rest of his career, he drove a Chevy. And there are these big boys. I got some 1/18ths to show the size difference. This is a 1/24th, and this is a 1/18th. So I love the detail. But this is Jeff Gordon's rookie car when he drove in the what was the Grand National Series, but now the Xfinity Series. I have one of Jeff Gordon's Rainbow Warrior cars. This is the 1994 Lumina. But it has the older tires and also has tire marks on the vehicle, has the rubboid decals. And this was earlier in their career, so he did have the sponsor from Snickers, which is really neat. Now they sponsor the same car as the M&M's car. Because it is the same company. Then we also have one that I'm really glad that I saw, and that's Darrell Waltrip's 17, that Chrome 17 Western Auto car. So I think that's really neat too. Those are all in 1/18ths. And the other day while I was at the local mall, I don't buy these anymore usually, but I found this Jeff Gordon 24 pop vinyl and I had to pick it up. But it's got Jeff in the Rainbow Warrior, as they say. This is the Lumina design, which I appreciate. I think that's funny in a way. And let's see. Can you separate these two? No, you cannot separate them. He's just stuck in there. I didn't know that. He can't look around. So he's got his actual shades, like sunglasses on, and he's got his mustache. I think that's pretty neat. And it also has the DuPont branding on the front. So I don't know, just a piece of plastic, but it's also a cheap piece of plastic that I find pretty cool. So I've definitely picked up like a second collection in just, a short amount of time. Probably won't be adding too much else to my collection, at least at this time. I don't care for acquiring stuff, but this is cool stuff. So I'll go with it. I meant to talk about a lot else during the course of this video, but I kind of went on for a while. So we're going to separate this podcast kind of in this soon. But I hope you're able to tune into the video version. If not, this is available on Amazon Podcast, on Amazon Music. It's available through Audible, available on Google Podcast, available on Spotify and Anchor. Working on Apple Music, but their podcast submission website is broken at the moment, has been. So it's hard to get a new podcast on there at the moment. And this is a known about issue. It's been going on for about a year now. So I'm not the only one with this issue. But once again, thank you for the support. I do have someone that does want to come on the podcast. So we'll see if we can get that set up anytime soon. And hopefully get into some good topics there. I have a couple other people I definitely want to bring on and talk to about their fields of expertise, go back to actual subjects and not as much random talking as this one. But the name of this podcast is the Extraneous and Miscellaneous podcast. And I just feel like I had a lot to talk about that was extraneous and miscellaneous. Definitely a very different background than I usually have, but again, I have relocated. And we'll see where life takes me from here. It's definitely been different working this new position as I work remotely a lot, and that's very, very different. But it's allowed me to have greater flexibility here with my family, so it's been pretty nice. But definitely takes some getting used to. We'll go ahead and close it out, but thank you everyone for watching. If anyone is out there after this low energy ramble I've been on, just very tired today, not quite having the energy there, but I knew I needed to make this. I've been wanting to talk about this and some other stuff for a while, and I can't get to other topics before I covered this. But yeah, that should be all.